So I started in ophthalmology in 2017, and right from the get-go I was put into the IOL direction, or was forced into the IOL team, which came quite convenient for me because that fit with my interest in ophthalmology. And I started doing studies on IOL power calculation, IOL choice, how tomography and how tomography gives the base for IOL selection. Went over to studies about astigmatism, about arcuate incision with astigmatism, and I think the latest study I arrived was a study about power calculation for ICLs, so for additive phakic lenses. We made a formula with Achim Langenbucher and Peter Hoffman with a thick lens cornea model for phakic lens calculation. And I think the interesting thing for the Rayner user is that the formula can also be used together with additive pseudophakic lenses. So the Sulcoflex can be calculated with that formula. I think it gives some very nice options for that, especially for duet implantation, where you're not aware of the post-operative anterior chamber depth, and you can take an axial length position calculation into account. That gives you the post-operative anterior chamber depth, and you can count with that and calculate it with that, and just makes it easier, gives you something to compare the ray trace values against, and it gives you more security in choosing the right Sulcoflex IOL. I'm quite relieved to have the Sulcoflex as an option, because it gives me the chance to give IOLs that I would have wanted patients to get, but would have seen restrictions to put that lens in the bag. So it gives me the chance, starting maybe with astigmatic patients, where I think the biomechanics of the cornea are not up to par and might change in the future. So I fear it changes the meridian. Let's say triple DMEC patients or DMEC patients, patients after PKP, where I don't want the toric IOL in the back if I see regular astigmatism in these patients. So it's quite convenient to have an option where the toric meridian of the eye can be changed, or if the astigmatism gets irregular, the toric part of the scenario can be stripped, and the difference vector does not drive the astigmatism higher than is necessary. So that's a very handy scenario for those patients. On the other hand side, I see a big option in multifocal IOL patients, where it's quite convenient for patients where I'm not sure how the macula is going to be in the future. Let's say diabetic patients that at the moment have a nice macula, but where I'm not so sure how the future is going to look, or if I'm seeing first signs of singular drusens outside of the fovea, but within the macular area. And I can supply those patients and give the patients an option of spectacle independence with the Sulcoflex trifocal lens. But it's a reversible scenario, so if there comes something in the future which I cannot foresee, if the contrast sensitivity suffers in the future, I can just have a reversible lens, strip it out, and give the patient basically what he needs.